Eagles, Packers. Eagles, Packers. I think I'm just going to start staying off Thursday nights. Maybe look for prop bets so that I can have fun while watching it. But, man, Packers open up at -3.5. Now there's 5s on the board. -5s on the board. Others are 4.5. This total opened at 47.5, and I'm using Pinnacle opening lines. They're now down to 45 or 45.5. Packers are playing good football. I mean, when was the last time, Donnie, that the strength of the Green Bay Packers was their defense? They're playing good football. And the Eagles, in Week 4, are in a early season must win. Alshon Jeffrey probable, Arcega Whiteside questionable, Darby Clement uncertain. Maybe you have more information on what's going on with this beaten up Eagles team. Deshaun Jackson out, Timmy Jernigan out. Packers, Jimmy Graham questionable. I mean, he's still a red zone threat, but that's about all he is. He can't get separation. Not a big loss for the Packers if he can't go. Every week, the Panthers' offense is getting a little bit stronger. Their defense has been rolling from the start. And the NFC North, 7-0-1 against teams outside of their division. Donnie RightSide, Eagles at Packers, and I know this total's going down, but I have some interest in the over. What's your look on the Thursday nighter?
Yeah, no, the good part about it is, like, you know, we always give out information and what we like. Before the season, I had this as a dead-pegged loss for the Eagles. Still think it is. On Saturday, before the games, Jimmy, even took place on Sunday, I already took the Green Bay Packers at -3, which now we see the 4.5s and the 5s, which is exactly what you thought was going to take place, because we had a pretty good read on this football game last week with the Eagles against the Detroit Lions. We had them early in the week, and it didn't matter what number you bet the Detroit Lions at last week. The game was the outright victory for Detroit and the absolute right side. Now you're going to take a team that's going to go on the road on Thursday night, and the one thing we can always preach on the Tuesday show is if you're thinking about betting the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday night on the road, just don't do it. Stay back, hang out, and wait for the games on Sunday, because long-term, you're going to cost yourself a lot of money. Now, we take a look at the injured Philadelphia Eagles coming in. Walk through yesterday, walk through today, travel tomorrow. Not a lot of prep time. And you know the Philadelphia Eagles are banged up. I did see Alshon Jeffrey listed as probable for the game with a full participant. But again, they can only measure that based on a walkthrough at practice where nobody's going full speed. I actually thought if the Eagles would be smart this week, Jimmy, they would actually still sit Alshon Jeffrey out, because no matter if Alshon Jeffrey plays or does not play, if Dallas Goedert plays or does not play, what if the Eagles are going to lose this football game? So just take your 1 and 3, move on, get healthy. The back at the end of the schedule is very much easier than the first part of the schedule. The Eagles are banged up. And again, just gets back to the point, they're not going to win this football game. So if you're betting the Philadelphia Eagles, donate your money this weekend. I'm a big Eagles fan. I went against the Eagles last week with the Detroit Lions, which is the right move, and it's the right move again. The Eagles are going to lose on Thursday Night Football. Now, will they cover, the 4.5 or the 5 where it's at? That's another story. But if you're betting the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football, just don't do it, man. Just don't.
The timing is so good, Donnie, because look who's popped in our chat. Whale Capper with Philly plus 4.5. Philly plus 4.5 at plus 104. Big balls on Whale Capper, and it's easy to show off your size of your balls when you've hit 6 in a row like the Whale Capper has. Jack Hargrave says Eagles going to get exposed even more. Tomino says the books have overvalued the Eagles all year. Open them at 8 against Detroit. And Robert Weimer says, Donnie with the right advice here. Listen up, Bagman. Hey, look, I'm not going to jump on the Eagles at plus 4.5. I'm very excited that Whale Capper has the ball to do that. Donnie RightSide, let's talk total. This total opened up at 47.5. It's now down to 45. Do you think the Eagles banged up, or do you need to wait to hear exactly who's going to be in the lineup before you can decide whether the Eagles can put up any points against this Packers defense?
No, I don't need to wait any longer. The Green Bay Packers are a pretty good defense. But again, you're talking about a team that's going to have limited prep time going on the road in one of the tougher environments against what looks like a pretty good football team out here. I don't see the Eagles lighting it up going up and down the field. Carson Wentz played a hell of a game versus Detroit and got absolutely no help in that football game. Now, you can still argue and say, well, they didn't fumble and do some things. Maybe they would have scored more points, which I do agree with. But if we're looking at 45, what I'm seeing out of Green Bay is more ball control out there on offense. And then what I'm liking from the Green Bay defense, they're able to get pressure on the quarterback. And look, the Eagles are banged up. It's not going to be an easy game. Thursday Night Football, banged up, injured, no time to prep. You can't go over in these football games. Every week it seems like they stay under.
It does. It does. Of course, I was on the under in Philadelphia last week, and that did not come through. Robert Weimer says, I see the Eagles getting lit up here. Wow. Okay, now I know we got to move on to the other games, but Donnie, is this a must-win game for the Philadelphia Eagles?
No, it's not. It's a loss. It's a straight up loss. I think the Eagles looked on the calendar and said it's a straight up loss before the season even comes to town. Losing at Green Bay in Green Bay, you almost have to expect it. Now they even have an out clause because of how banged up they are. Nobody expects them to win. So I hear it all the time on the Philadelphia radio. Hey, you never know in football. No, you know what we know? Teams that go on the road on Thursday night get slaughtered. That's what we know. So we'll stick to that.
All right, 66 Fahrenheit at Lambeau, 13 miles per hour is the wind.